Hello. Welcome to the Total Truth Show. My name is Aldwyn Altuney from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And my name is Ken Kleinberg, coming to you all the way from the United States of America, and more specifically, San Diego County, California.
And my name is Nick Cree, and I am originally from Norfolk Island. Look that one up. I bet no one knows where that is. And now I live in Labrador on the Gold Coast in Australia.
Fantastic. We'll be right back after this short introduction with our hot topic for today, which is why most marketing doesn't work, and to do these three things instead. Back soon.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Total Truth Show, hosted by myself, Ken Kleinberg from San Diego County, California.
And I'm Aldwyn Altuney, known as the Media Queen from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And our goal here on this show is to help you to break away from the mainstream media propaganda and lies, the disinformation and misinformation that's out there in the mainstream, and really help you to start questioning everything and start doing the research for yourself. We want to punch through all of that disinformation and misinformation. Our goal here is to raise global consciousness to quantum critical mass, and then pave the way for a new awakened civilization. And we would love for you to come along for the ride. Don't take our word for it. The things that we share here on the show, that goes for our guests too. Start doing the research for yourself. Start going and asking the questions for yourself. Get out there and really find the real truth behind things. So with that, let's get started, you guys. Let's dive into today's episode. Once again, welcome.
Oh, yes. Welcome. Hot topic today, and an amazing guest I've known for many years. You're going to love this show. We've been having such a good laugh about all sorts of stuff before we started this show today going live, and I'm sure it's going to be an absolute hoot. So welcome along to our special guest, Nick Cree. We're going to be chatting about why most marketing fails and do these three things instead. Now, before we chat with Nick, a little bit about Nick. He is the founder of Smash Go. He is a digital transformation coach, a consultant working with businesses to embrace the online world to create a more profitable, scalable business in less time, reducing the hours business owners work and increasing enjoyment and satisfaction. He has a penchant for laziness and taking shortcuts to achieve faster and more easily than in traditional business. And so much more. We'll cover some more later. Welcome along our special guest, Nick Cree, and my co-host, Ken Kleinberg. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, and so good to be here. Thank you for having me on the show today. You may regret it at the end, but thank you from the beginning.
I don't think we're going to regret this one, Nick. I think it's going to be an absolute hoot. Now, for those who don't know, Nick Cree runs an amazing event every Tuesday night on the Gold Coast, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It is called Business Owners Smashing It Online. He's been doing it now for 6 years, and it is absolutely brilliant. It's free. You can win things at the end of it as well. He always covers some amazing tech tools and has special guests who come on as well. So if you haven't checked it out, check out Business Owners Smashing It Online Facebook group. There's a link. We'll share some links with you here in the comments, and can't wait to hear what you've got to say about marketing, because Nick is an absolute expert when it comes to marketing and everything online. So this is going to be a great episode today. Now, Nick, firstly, getting started, for those who don't know too much about you, can you share a bit of your background and how you actually got into marketing and websites in the first place?
Well, back in 1917, actually, I'm not that old. I did touch my first computer back in 1979. That was when I wrote my first line of code. So I'll let you work out how old I really am. I know I look sort of so young for someone so old. But it was 79 that I did. And that was on a Sinclair ZX86. So go and look that one up on the Google archives. It was a computer that had a one-line screen. So when you typed your line of code, when you hit return to go to the next line, the first line just disappeared. So you had to remember what you'd actually typed. So that was the very first one. But my whole journey online was, well, that's really what got me interested. I know that when IBM computers came out, remember the IBM PCs? These were computers that would sit on your desk. I remember the year, it was 1985. I was working for an insurance company and I thought, I want one of those. And, these were the days when I was working as a claims clerk in an insurance company. I know it's incredibly exciting, but we used to fill in these claims in a register. We used to physically write it out into a register. We had a little number there that we'd tear out of the register. We'd stick it on the file and all that. And I'm thinking, IBM came along and like, this is fantastic. People are fearing for their jobs, but I just wanted one of these computers at home. But, back then it was $5,000, I think, or $10,000. It was some exorbitant amount. It was like a third of my year's salary to buy one of these things. And I remember my boss at the time said, no one's ever going to have these. These are only for business. And, it wouldn't work here. And lo and behold, here we are. We have things that we hold in our hands that are more powerful than that thing. And in fact, they're dangerous weapons because people walk down the street with their heads in them and they don't actually look at where they're going across the road. So that's the world that we live in. But I got my start in it really back in 2001 it was. And I built my first website. And that was with a platform called Stores Online. So there was this American crowd that came out to New Zealand and Australia, and they were spruiking these websites. And I thought, man, I've just got to have one of these. And I had a mortgage broking business at the time. And so I bought one, and it cost me $5,000 to buy this website. In fact, not only did I buy one, I bought two. Thought I'll probably set up another business with it. So it cost me 10 grand. And I got it, I opened it up, and there was nothing in it. And I had to actually build the whole website. I had to learn how to code. All I had was sort of like an early WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get sort of platform. It really wasn't, what you saw wasn't what you got. It was really quite different. But that was really where I learned to code. And I didn't know what to put into this website. So I went to a Jay Abraham course. Anyone sort of know Jay
Yes.
Abraham, marketer in the States there? Well,
Yes.
followed him, really enjoyed his stuff, and I went to the States to a seminar that he was putting on. And I think at the time, who else was there? Stephen Pierce. I think he's still in the internet world now. There was Jay Abraham. There's a whole lot of names there. Marissa Murgatroyd. She was there as well too. So she's a big name online as well too. So I met all of them back in the early 90s, and that really just got my passion going for the online stuff. So I came back and I wrote a long form sales letter as the homepage of my website, because I didn't know what else to put on it. But I did know that I didn't want to put on the graphs and crap that the banks used to put on their websites, because I sort of thought, well, people have got a mortgage. What do they want to know about? So, well, they don't want to know about these graphs and things. I'm a mortgage broker, and I found that pretty boring. So I'm not even going to put that on. So I worked out what they wanted, and I think the first thing I put on was a downloadable document back then called, and I wrote this, the 10 dirty secrets that the banks don't want you to know. And so that was my first downloadable book. And I learned that from this course that I went to. And it really just took off from there. So I ran my mortgage broking business with a website before, mortgage broking firms had websites like this, that all the other brokers, if they had one, it was really just copying what all the banks did. So mine was not copying that at all. It's thinking about what do people actually want? What are they really interested in? What are they going to come and read? And, because I was interested in making money and not just putting out information. And that really worked. And I wasn't a mortgage broker when I started the business. I just thought, well, what am I going to do after I was made redundant? And this offer came along with a piece of software, set up a mortgage broking company. And I didn't even know banks paid commissions. And it wasn't until 3 years later that I got told banks paid commissions. And so I went and asked them about it, and they said, "Oh, yeah, no, we've got some commissions. We're happy to pay you." They wouldn't back pay me. But anyway, I grew that business over 10 years with that website and a whole lot of other marketing strategies as well too. And in the last year, I was awarded the runner-up mortgage broker of the year, which is not bad for someone who's never had a history at all in the banks or anything. Don't have anything to do that today, but that was my introduction. And then when I sold that business in the GFC, I moved from New Zealand to Australia and thought, well, what can I do? And I got a job at the bank, at another bank. I thought, this is going to be pretty boring. I'm running away from that from New Zealand. Why would I do that again over in Australia? So end up driving taxis and had a laptop in the car thinking, right, I'm going to learn how to code while I'm in a taxi. And because I know that taxi drivers, they sit around a lot on taxi ranks. So I thought, I'm going to put my computer under my my chair, and I'll sit at the taxi rank. I'll have plenty of time, whip it out. I'm going to learn how to code and, so build on the experience that I had building a website as a mortgage broker. But unfortunately, the computer was so slow that it would take half an hour to fire up. And by the time I was ready to go, a passenger hopped in the back seat of the car, had to shut the thing down again, stick it under my seat. And that was my way, just opening it, waiting for it to fire up, closing it, sticking under my seat. So I finished that job and went and did a job, which was selling timeshare over the phone, which was the worst job I've positively ever had. Don't do it. It's just horrible, soul-sucking job. And but the good thing about that job was that it didn't start till 10. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, I used to go down to the cafe below, and I had from 6 till 10, which is where I taught myself to code properly. And I discovered this platform called WordPress, and then I got my first customer. I had no idea what I was doing, but this person came up to me, who sort of knew me from networking me. She said, "You seem to know what you're doing." I thought, "What do I?" She said, "I'll pay you to look after my website. You can leave your job, go and get some other customers." And that's what I did. And so I stepped out with my first paying customer, and I still didn't know what I was doing. It must have looked like I did, but that was really where a 13-year web development career and business and whatever started off from. And today I work with people on, training them how to get online, how to wrangle all these tools. That's what Business Owners Smashing Online Webinar is all about. It's about, how do you compress a 20-year journey into about 2 months? So I don't know if I've quite got there yet with anyone, but, that's really the objective, because it's so much easier to do that today.
Oh, I love it, Nick. Now, in 1979, I don't want to make you feel old or anything like that, but I was actually 5 years of age at that time. So I know you're just a little bit older than me, and I am 49.
Thank you very much.
Now, Andrew Komenos, the amazing Andrew Komenos, is with us here. Pretty sure you're 97. Nick. Love you, buddy. and Jeff Fields with us. He says, Jay is a legend. Absolutely. I saw Jay Abraham actually in America myself, and I was at one of the very first Stores Online events as well, Nick, probably in the same seminar room, and I also paid 10 grand for their stuff and also did nothing with it. So there you go. That was and I remember that, and they were saying, "Oh, you can start websites and all these things," and that was at the very beginning. And those guys made a mint. They made a mint with those seminars, and most people probably didn't even open the box right at the time, because we did get the physical.
Well,
box.
I think they regret the fact that I opened the box, because I was on the on their little chat there. I don't quite know how they did the chat, but I was on there all the time asking them how to do stuff, and I'm asking them how to code, and they're sending me back code snippets. And there was a thing that I learned from the J. Abraham webinar or seminar, that I went to in the States, and it was this thing called RSS feeds. And that stands for really simple syndication. And that was really, I suppose, the precursor to blogs. You could have real time, news as it happened come up onto your website, and you could pull it off other websites. And they didn't have it in Stores Online. So I remember going to them and I said, "I want an RSS feed." And they said, "Okay." And then within half a day, they'd got it all up and running and said, "It's all ready for you." The only problem was I didn't know actually how to put anything into this RSS feed, but I had an RSS feed on my website.
Oh, classic. Oh my gosh, this is so good. And sometimes you don't know the questions to ask until you start playing around with these things. So that is amazing. You were there at the very beginning, and here you are now, an absolute genius when it comes to marketing. And I love your Business Owners Smashing It Online events. I've had a lot of my clients actually go to your events now. I keep referring people. I say Tuesday night, and I've actually got you in my calendar. As many Tuesday nights as I can attend, I attend. However, the beauty is also that you stream the event to Facebook, so people can actually see it. If they can't hop on live, they can see the replay, and it also goes up on your YouTube channel and all that. So it's just fantastic value that you've been giving week after week since 2020, well, 6 years, right?
2017? Yeah, 2018. No, 2018 we started that.
2018. There you go. So since 2018, every single week. And we're going to talk about marketing today. Now, I would say one of the big things that we do need in marketing is consistency. And that is something that you have shown very well, Nick, I must say. And I know for Ken and myself as well, we are consistent. Our Total Truth shows, we've been doing them regularly every week, every 2 weeks. We're up to episode 26 now. We've been on a roll with these. And this is the thing, is that, we're at a time in history where, the mass media world is changing so rapidly. My background is traditional journalism. And in the last 20 years, in fact, since 2004, since Facebook started, we now have about 4 billion of the world's 7.9 billion population active social media users, right? And even TikTok. I was looking at TikTok stats the other day. They've got 1 billion active social media users on TikTok. And that's only been around really since 2018 or so. It's very new, and it's gone like insane. And it's not just a whole lot of young people dancing around and showing their tits and bums, right? It's not all about that. There's a lot more to TikTok than that, and a lot of people making great money on TikTok too. So if you've been resisting TikTok, I recommend have a look at that, right? So one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is not being consistent. Now, our topic today is about what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make, and do these 3 things instead. So can we get straight into it? What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see, Nick, and how important is consistency?
Well, I would say you have hit the nail on the head. Consistency is the number one thing. You don't have to be good at what you do. And I think that's one of the real mistakes that people make, is they aim for perfection out of the gate. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never been perfect. Well, maybe I have, but no, I've never been perfect. And people that are striving for perfection, like, I'm just going to wait until my hair grows long enough so that I look like that movie star. I've got that Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie look. I know I'm showing my age because those actors are gone already, aren't they? So I don't know who the new ones are. They're on TikTok or Instagram or whatever those platforms are. But consistency is absolutely the key thing. And it is showing up, so on a consistent basis. So for me, one of my consistent things is every Tuesday night, I show up for this program called Business Owners Smashing Online. Every Tuesday morning, I show up and I do a live video on Facebook for the show that happens at night. And then throughout the week, the good thing about having my show is that I present on my show current 5 top tools, or 5 cool online tools, and I go through and tell people about them, how they work, why they're good, all that sort of thing. But the good thing about that is after the show, I've got a team member who then cuts that up into 5 separate videos, and then they go and post those each day on the social media platforms. So from that one event, I've got now 5 days worth of posts that go out onto all the social media platforms. So, and I use the same content on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't know what other ones I'm on out there, but my team have got them all scheduled out. I don't have to do the work. I just have to do the work once. So, and often people will come up to me and say, "Wow, you're just on social media all the time. When do you actually get some time to do some work?" But the reality is I'm not. It's just that I've used that one piece of content. So it's a 90-minute piece of content that we're able to cut up and repurpose all over the place. And, that gives me a whole week's worth of content until we go through the cycle again, and then do another whole week's worth of content. So I think there's a misconception there that, the online marketing stuff is hard. Well, I'm not here to bust that for you. It is hard. And the reason why it's hard is that most people make it harder than it needs to be, because they are doing things like creating lots and lots of additional content that doesn't need to be done. They can use the same piece of content and use it across multiple mediums. And if you think about, say, mainstream TV, the only thing that I ever remember about mainstream TV are all the ads that they show. So, between the ads, they have a program break where they play a bit of movie, and then they come back to the ads again. But the thing about these ads is that every single ad break, you can guarantee in a show there, they are playing the same ad over and over and over and over again. They don't bother repurposing it into different forms. They're just playing the same thing. So you need to think of, and that's what really works for marketing and advertising, is people seeing the same message over and over and over again. It's not them seeing different messages, it's them seeing the same message. Because if they see different messages over and over again, That's what's confusing. They don't know what you're doing or what your flavor is today, tomorrow, next week. And when they're looking for the services or products that they want to buy, if they think about you, it's like, I don't know what this person does. They're on TikTok doing one thing, they're on Facebook doing another thing, and even on Facebook, that nothing's the same. There's nothing consistent. So that consistency and just doing the same thing over and over and over again is just so important, because not everyone is ready to engage with you now, to buy your products and services now, but they may be at some point in the future. And you want to make sure that when they are in a position where they're looking for what you do, they remember you, because they think, that's that person with the jingle. It's the person with the weird hair and the funny shirt. That's the person that's on that show every Tuesday night. He seems to know what he's doing. And I can't tell you how many times people have messaged me, emailed me, rung me up and said, do you happen to know an app that does such and such? So they know me as the app guy just because I profile 5 online tools every single week, post it out on social media, one every week. They just think that I know everything about the internet. Well, I don't. I'm sorry to say that I don't. I just happen to be there consistently, and it's just people's perception. So, and I've got a gym trainer. I've been to the gyms, just to try and get myself back into shape, and that's how I've got this incredible physical form that I've got right now, and my.
I was going to say, you look amazing, Nick. What have you been doing?
I know, right? I know.
I was like, wow, okay, he's tugging on that bell.
Ring that bell.
I just haven't got this body for radio, so out of nowhere.
We're talking about doing online Zooms in your birthday suit before, but anyway, won't go there. We do have clothes on today. You can see at least from the waist up, we do have clothes on. Okay.
Indeed, I won't stand up.
No. Be careful where you swing around in your chair. Anyway, back to your amazing physique now, Nick.
Wow.
Well, I was going to say where I was heading with this is not the direction that you've just taken at Aldwyn, but where I was heading is to say I had a gym trainer who just gave me a very sage piece of advice, and it just so translates into business so well. And he said that consistency beats intensity. So, there are people like, I don't know, if you've been to the gym, you see these people that come into the gym, they strut in their latest Nike or New Balance gear, and they're just dressed up. They look beautiful. They've got big Botox lips and, a face that's a constant look of surprise on them. And the first place they go is not the gym machine; it's to the mirrors. And so look at themselves there. They've got their phones up. They're doing the selfie. So these are the influencers. They want to be influencers.
Oh yes, I see them all the time at my gym. They blow me away. I think, oh my gosh, these lips take up half their face sometimes. I think, oh my gosh.
Well, I reckon that's the workout. Is just moving them. That's it. Just get stronger. Donald Duck lips.
It's so true. It is.
But then what'll happen is that you'll see them and they'll go to a weights machine and they'll be up there with their selfie thing and they're just pushing a bit of weight there. But not only they're pushing a weight, they've got a really heavy weight on it. So they're just showing that they can push a heavy weight, and they do sort of half a rep of that, and then they're on to the next machine there. So they're the ones that my gym trainer sort of says, they're all about intensity. They come along, they're only there for the time to really push weights and get a bit of a sweat up, or maybe they don't sometimes, but you don't see them for 2 weeks. But he said it's more important. It says it doesn't matter if you're lifting a lightweight. But if you're doing that every day, you're going to make more progress than you will someone that just turns up every couple of weeks taking selfies of themselves. So, it was consistency beats intensity. And so often I see online is people show up, they'll do, I've seen Aldwyn doing sort of these podcasts and webinars. I'm going to do that too. And they do one episode. Oh, that was hard. And then they don't do any more. They might do 2 or 3, but they don't do any more. And they said, well, that didn't work. And but the reason why it didn't work is they did 2 or 3, and that was it. Sort of thing. I've done mine for 6 years now. How long have you done yours? It's like, and it's just that you show up every, well, for me, it's every week. Just show up every week. You don't get known for the first episode you produce, but you get known for the 123rd episode that you produce, because people realize that you're there every single week. So that consistency, you don't have to be good, you just have to be there.
Yeah, totally agree. And actually, since COVID, I've been doing a Global Good News Challenge every month since June 2020. And I don't care if one person does it for the month or 10 people do it for the month, I am standing for good news, right? And the whole idea is to help decrease depression and suicide rates. So also tying in why you do what you do, I think is really important. And this is the thing, we're in such a time now where people want instant results for everything, right? They want to go to the gym once and suddenly have 6-pack abs, right? And the thing is, it's consistency. As you say, it's absolutely crucial with everything you do to be consistent and to be patient. Be patient, right? It's like when I do marketing with people sometimes, and in a month, if I don't make them an overseas celebrity, if I don't make them an international celebrity straight away in a month, they go, the PR didn't work because we didn't get international, we didn't get on Oprah in a month. You've got to be consistent with your messaging, right? And I mean, you do get the odd client like that, right? The odd client that just expects everything to happen. And there's a great saying that says it takes a lifetime to be an overnight success. A lifetime to be an overnight success, right? So patience on this journey, I think, is absolutely crucial with whatever you're doing. And with the stats around podcasts at the moment, interestingly, in 2018, there was only 500,000 podcasts worldwide. Now we have 2 to 3 million podcasts, and most of them, people do not stay consistent with it. About 44% or so, they've only done 10 episodes. Max, right? So people do 1 or 2 episodes and they go, oh, no one's watching, not getting enough viewers, not enough followers. And that's the thing. It's a real trap with the social media world that no matter how successful you become on social media or anywhere else, sometimes it feels like it's not enough, right? You can have 10 million followers and think, oh, it's not enough. So-and-so's got 100 million, right? Like when do you get to a point where you're happy and enjoying the journey, right? Rather than worried about how many followers or how many people are doing whatever they're doing. Because the fact is, people are stalking you. They're stalking you all the time. I have people contact me. It's amazing. Since I put the post up about why do guys on dating sites, now I'm online dating again, why are they sending pics of their dicks, right? Since I put that up on my social media, suddenly all these amazing quality men are contacting me saying, can I take you out to lunch? And I'm like, oh, well, this is interesting. I wasn't expecting this. So you never know where things might come, but people are following you. They're watching you, right? And so put it out there, I say. Put it out there and let people know what you're up to, right? Because you might get lucky.
I was wondering when the backstage conversation would finally spill out into the live stream, and here we are.
Here we are.
Anyway,
and so,
I want to speak a little bit more to the showing up part. The part about, I had to be very careful how I said that, because what I was about to say would have just not sounded great with what she just said. So anyhow. And then Aldwyn, you also mentioned journey. So, I feel like from my point of view and giving a different perspective, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are overweight that approach losing weight with the microwave mindset. So I'll use that analogy, microwave. They approach losing weight with a microwave mindset. Another way of putting this would be a diet mindset. What results does that produce? Well, it might produce some in the very beginning, but does it actually produce lasting results? No, it doesn't. We have evidence for that. Who do you know that's gone and gone on a diet, lost the weight, but then has actually kept it off for a long period of time? Well, if they're going on a diet, I can guarantee you maybe 5% of the people have done that and kept it off. So it takes the journey of consistent, sustainable changes, consistent being the key. Sustainable is another very important thing, but consistency. It takes the consistency of showing up every single day, making small, minute, sustainable changes, and keeping at it through that journey. My journey, happens to be, it took me 5.5, 6 years to lose 62.5 pounds. And I often wonder, I'm like, how many people wonder why it took me so long? And well, the thing of it is one, I wanted to go on that journey, but I wanted to do it my way. I wanted it to be sustainable. I wanted to be something that I didn't feel like I was depraved or deprived, but I showed up every single day. Did I hit plateaus? Did I have like a month? Did I have like 4 or 5 months, a period of time where that scale did not move? Yes. But I still kept showing up day after day after day after day after day after day. And so, kind of furthering the point that's being brought up here, consistency, showing up day after day after day after day.
Actually, and with that too, Ken, like that is a really good metaphor for marketing as well too. I think people also often mistake showing up for enjoyment. It's not always enjoyable. And the people that really do make it are those that turn up even if they don't want to. And even if it's a cold and dark morning and, everyone else is in bed, they show up and do it. Like I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning so that I'm in the US time zone to be on podcasts and webinars over there. And while everybody else is asleep. And do that sort of, time and time again. So, and I've got, clients of mine that sort of say, I just hate this marketing stuff. It's, if I just don't want to do it. It's, if I don't, I just want to be out there and, and do what I do. And I say, well, that's business. That everyone wants to do all the good stuff. No one wants to do all of the hard stuff, but it's the hard stuff that actually makes the good stuff even better. And a good analogy for it, I think, is, and this is a friend of mine who's in financial services. He said, if you've got a 1 cent, what do you call it over there, 1 dime, and you double it every day, at I think about halfway through, you end up with about $164. So if you double it, it's $164. So it's a pretty unimpressive amount of money. But when you get to day 30, you've got about $1.6 million. So if you just double it. So most of the effort that you put in at the beginning there looks like you're getting no result. But it's only towards the end of it, after you put in that effort at the beginning, do those results end up as an exponential curve there, and you look like you've come from obscurity to fame in a short period of time. But the reality is that the journey from obscurity to fame didn't happen, in the second half. It happened in the first half, because if you never start, then you never get to that point there. And I think that's where people sort of fundamentally go wrong, is they start all of these projects and they start doing things, and they get through to a point thinking, it's just not making any progress. I'm not getting any results at all, or it's so minute. Is it really? It's not worth me putting my time in. They give up, and then they go and try something else. And so what you end up with are people that are into serial marketing, where they try one thing after another, after another, after another, and they never.
That's called shiny object syndrome.
It is, it's the shiny object, but and it's also they never finish anything. So people start things and they never finish it. Now, the interesting thing about business is we don't get paid for starting something. We only get paid for finishing. So if you've got a whole lot of projects there that you've got to 80%, 70%, 60%, 90%, it's as worthless as not starting anything at all. It's not until you actually get completion and you see the thing through, you're consistently there all the time, that you actually get the result. And so, an overnight success is like 30 years in the making.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And that goes for one night stands as well. I find the guys that want the one night stands, back to sex again, because this is actually very relevant. The guys that just send the dick pics and they just want the one night stands, it never lasts and it's always unsatisfying. But if you get those that are actually willing to go through the whole dating process and actually take time to get to know you, for all the guys out there that are single right now, then, you may be in with a chance for a longer term relationship and more satisfying orgasms at the end of it. Okay. So that's all I got to say about that one. But back to the topic today. back to the topic today. It's very relevant.
I'm just now trying to sort of relate. How do we sort of now sort of superimpose an orgasm on sort of marketing and sort of business? Is that the equivalent of becoming the millionaire, the billionaire?
It's if you want the orgasmic life, be patient and be consistent, right? Basically is what we're saying. Don't just send dick pics and expect to get lucky straight away, because you'll most likely get barred, right? From a lot. You won't have much luck doing it that way, right?
Well, funnily enough, that's exactly what they do in, I don't know, LinkedIn and Facebook. Is I get all these virtual dick pics coming through on Messenger, and it's like, I've just friended them. Well, you know, because I respond to their friend request. What do? They shoot me through a picture of their penis. It's, well, not literally, but it's like, you know, it's as good as that. You know, and it's like, come and buy my stuff. It's like, I don't even know you yet.
Exactly. I don't even know you. I don't want to look at your ugly bits and pieces. I want to actually.
I'm not touching that.
Exactly. You know, as Denzo's a friend, a comedian of mine. He goes, I don't send them dick pics. He said, I'd rather disappoint them in person.
Wow. All right.
So anywho, back to the topic.
And with the messenger thing, like, you know, because I'm kind of in that process of like networking and kind of building new relationships with other entrepreneurs and kind of cultivating that conversation. And I gotta say, it's been quite frustrating, actually, trying to cultivate conversations through Messenger and stuff like that. Because, you know, to me right now, and I think it's because I'm so early in the learning game with it. But to me, it's like, I'll have a conversation with them, you know, hey, what do you do? Oh, that's great. How long you been doing that? La, 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 la. How was your weekend? You know, just developing and cultivating the conversation to where I'm either comfortable with going, hey, you know, come, you know, would you like to join my Facebook community group? There's a lot of good value in it. Love to have you part of that. And then I bring them into the group. Most of the time that's working really well. Okay. But then it's like, after they've been in the group for a couple of days and they're seeing what I'm posting in there and everything, I think, okay, you know, so now I'm going to ask them the question, you know, hey, so what are your health challenges? What things are you challenged with? You know, how can I help you? And it's literally like the conversation goes dead. And it's like the most frustrating thing in the world, because I'm like going, okay, so here I've cultivated this conversation, So, I mean, maybe I'm just opening up and being a little bit vulnerable here, but one of the things that I wanted to say, Nick, is yes, I too have those same type of people that as soon as that friend request comes through, there's no conversation of getting to know them or them getting to know me. It's just simply, boom, here's what I do, blah, 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 blah. Would you like to blah? And honestly, that it's one thing to cultivate the conversation. It's an entirely different thing to do that. And that's like the biggest turnoff ever, when people do that kind of crap and they just send it right. That there's no getting to know you. It's just like, boom, here's what I do. Hey, can I write your copy for you? Or can I do this for you? And blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I've just actually honestly gotten to the point where with most of those people, I'm just like, look, I'm not looking to hire anybody right now. On the other hand, I see you've been an entrepreneur, you know, for this long, and I'll try to turn the conversation over, you know. But go ahead, Nick.
Well, I've had girlfriends like, well, no, let me rephrase it. I've had women there that have wanted to be girlfriends and they've just come on real strong. And I'm sort of thinking, no, I actually don't want that at all, because I'm not attracted to you at all in any shape or form whatsoever. It doesn't matter what you say, what you offer. It ain't me. I'm out and I'm going the other direction. So that's a bit like those messenger conversations. But the way to turn that around, I've found, is that messenger is a how would I put this? It's a conversation. It's often a conversation with an agenda. So you're always on the losing end of it if you've got the agenda. So like if you're the desperate party, the one that's looking for the partner, the one that's looking to offer things, even if you're coming through and starting to a conversation of, you know, how's it going? You know, that sort of thing, there's always that agenda in behind it. So I generally don't go down that route there. Where I do go though, which I found has been very successful, is I go back into groups and like this is on Facebook, and you could probably do the same thing on LinkedIn. So go into groups and pages there and look for the questions that people are asking that you can answer. And so being in the online space, people will ask things like, and I work with a WordPress platform, so they're my favorite one. So they'll come and ask a question like, does anyone sort of know how to I don't know, how to stop spam signups to my WordPress website? And so what happens is in those conversations there is you get a whole lot of people that say DM me, message me, and they tag someone else in who's a web developer, and so you get all of these conversations which are all about having the agenda of I'll do it for you. But that's not actually the question the person asked. They're asking the question, how can you, I'm looking for some help in this area here. Does anyone know how to help me? So what I do with that is I will jump in and I'll give a really quite a detailed post, a comment there about what they can do to fix that issue or the problem that they've got. And so I'll point them in the direction of a particular plugin. I'll give them some strategies to mitigate it. So it ends up being quite a long post. When I say long, it can be sort of like 15 paragraphs or 20 paragraphs long. It's quite a read. And often the person that has written the post never responds to that. But what does happen is that everybody else that's in that conversation then and afterwards are looking at it, looking through the thread. So they see the ones of, that say DM me or I can help or, what, and they just dismiss it all. But then they come along to my long post and explains exactly how to do it and the reasons to do it. And then all of a sudden I've got their attention because I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not pitching anything. I've answered the question. I've given them exactly what they want. And then I'll get people that come and join my group. And come and stalk me on my profile and friend me. And then some of those people there will reach out to me and say, hey, I've got another problem because you actually helped with what, I like the explanation you've given with this one here. I thought you might know how to help me here. And then they will on a direct message or a phone call or whatever for me. So I'll send out a link and say, hey, look, happy to have a chat with you. Send out my link and they'll come and book a time with me. And then some of those people end up being clients and being good clients for a long time. And the reason for that, I think, is that I haven't gone in with an agenda of trying to sell something. I've gone in with the agenda of saying, right, I know the answer to this. I know why you're asking. You don't want someone to actually work for you. You actually want to know the answer to be able to implement it. And so I've given them exactly what they wanted. And so it's not the answer that's important, but the intent behind it. And so if you can start to read people and find and give them what they want, exactly what they're wanting without any agenda, then what happens is that people sort of respect that there, and then when someone else reads it and comes and books you, they don't think you're going to sell them, they think you're going to help them, which of course you are. And some of that help might be that you're going to have getting into a conversation with them, which is a paid conversational paid work, because they'll say, well, look, that's just beyond me, which is often what happens to me. Look, that just looks too hard. I say, well, look, I can help you. Here's what it's going to cost you. And, often they'll take it up. So it's just really sort of flipping that conversation around in its head. And I find those conversations in groups far more productive than DM conversations. It takes you far less energy and effort to do it, but the return's a lot higher. You're not pitching just one person. You're actually communicating with, potentially hundreds of people in that same feed. And so you're getting, so you're not trying to persuade just one person. You're putting it out there, and you may get one person that comes out of a pool of, sort of thousands.
I love that. Having that attitude of service, being of service. There's no greater purpose than being of service, they say. We've got some awesome comments coming in. Thank you so much to all those who are watching us live right now. It's fantastic to see your comments. I'm just going to share some of them now. And please let us know, where are you joining us from if you're watching live right now? Where are you joining us from? And what are your opinions about what we're talking about here today? What mistakes do you see in the world of marketing? And what do you recommend people do? And we'll come to some more. We've got our amazing Ken Donna here from the US. Another beautifully well articulated, eloquently stated, heartfelt nuggets of wisdom, kindness, goodness, patience, encouragement, empathy, understanding, sincerity, perseverance, knowledge, honesty, love, hope, courage, tenacity, awesomeness, caring, positivity, compassion, passion, inspiration, resilience, respect, appreciation, gratitude, enthusiasm, guidance, motivation with us tonight. Of course, tonight in the US for Ken. Thank you, Ken. I love how you just share so eloquently. I love your comments on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Jeff Veal says, Nick, your shirt looks like a series of websites you have done.
Oh, well. I laughed when that comment came through. I was like laughing at it. I love it.
And we've shared here, consistency beats intensity. And if you haven't liked our Total Truth Show on Facebook yet, we recommend you go over there, look for this little logo here. I've also popped in here details on how to participate in the Global Good News Challenge there. Got the business owners smashing it online links in here as well. So go back through the comments later and see all that. Jeff's saying, show me the money. Show me the money. Well, this is exactly how you get the money, is by being consistent, giving lots of value, and we'll share more nuggets with you in just a moment. Jeff says, little known fact, he was a matchmaker for over 20 years before the internet, and he recommends this book here, Why Men Don't Get Enough Sex and Women Don't Get Enough Love. Getting what you both want without playing games. Paperback from 1991. I'm sure from 1991 till today, the principles and philosophies are very much the same, even though we have a swipe left, swipe right society now where we just want everything instantly with the online dating. Andrew Komenos, the amazing Andrew Komenos. People don't know how to sell because people tell them they don't need to sell. What this does is teaches people to just charge in like I think it means like a bull, with no proper communication skills. Yes, absolutely. Andrew is a sales expert. Sales is communication with a pathway. Yeah, I love that too, with a pathway.
Like
Having with good systems is really important too. So Jeff says, great book to read. Andrew says, as Nick once told me, marketing gets people to your door and sales gets them through your door. Yes, I love that too, Andrew. Thank you. Give them what they want. You can help them with what they actually need. Yes, exactly. And Jeff says, give them the spices. They may buy the recipe once you give them the spice. So give them a taste test. Exactly. Well, see, this is what these guys sending the dick pics. They probably think, I'll give you a taste test. But no, that's not what we mean. No, that's not what we're talking about. So,
Wow.
It's interesting. It's interesting, isn't it? Back to the dick pics. Anyway, no, back to our topic. Well, it is very relevant. It's actually very, very relevant to this topic, the truth about why most marketing fails. So what other tips have you got for us there, Nick?
Well, the next one I've got is the people try to emulate other people. So, and what I mean by that is that they see someone show up online there and think, right, well, that's working. I'm going to do that there. And they try and do it, like that person there. So, and so it just becomes, it's sort of like being an actor, playing pretend. But the problem with being an actor, and I've been an actor on stage, is that you spend 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours in a role there, and when you come out of the role, it's like you shed the role and come back to being yourself, and it's like, oh, thank God I can be myself again, sort of thing. And you might enjoy the role on stage, like I really enjoyed it, but it takes energy to be that different person. And you're always sort of reading, engaging, how are other people responding to that there. And but at the end of it, you're not that for your whole life. You're only that for 2 or 3 hours, and it becomes exhausting. So people sort of think that the secret to marketing is you've got to be like someone else, but unfortunately you can't. It's taken. Someone else is that person, and it is exhausting for you to try and be that person and do that there for the rest of your business life, or to go on stage for 8 hours a day, or 9 hours or 10 hours. If you're an entrepreneur, it's like 12 hours a day, and then sort of drop all that and sort of be yourself at the end of it. So it just doesn't work. People burn out, they get exhausted, and they find it to be a real chore. So the key is really to be authentically yourself. So, we hear a lot about this word authenticity being sort of thrown around. I'm not sure that people really know what that means. But what it means is, don't try and be somebody else. Just be yourself. There are strategies and processes that you can use and implement in your business, but do it as yourself. You don't need to do it, trying to be somebody else. And I think if you do that, then the whole process of your online journey and business journey is going to be a whole lot easier. And I think a good example of that is probably, people often ask me about doing sort of live stuff on Facebook, for instance, because I do lots of live stuff on Facebook. Well, actually, I don't do lots. I do once a week, and occasionally I'll post up other stuff. But they think that I do it every day. It looks like that. And so they try and do it the way that I do it. And then they come back to me and say, well, it didn't work. And I said, well, it can't work trying to do it like me, because you will never be as funny as I am, however hard you try.
I love it. Absolutely. I'd agree with that. I second that.
So you really, you really have to sort of, be true to yourself to start with, show up and consistently show up all the time, but be you. Use the strategies and things that are there, but make sure that you're still being you in that. And I think, the people that say to me that they just don't enjoy doing the marketing things is because it's not the marketing they don't enjoy. It's the fact that they have to jump into somebody's body and pretend to be someone that they're not. That's the part that becomes really not enjoyable. It's hard enough as it is, to try and do it like someone else makes it even harder. So for me, I just show up as myself. It's just so much easier to be myself, because I don't have to think about anything else, because these words just come out of my mouth. I don't know what's coming next, but they just come out. I don't have to think about it. But if you're trying to be someone else, you're thinking about what you've got to say next. So I think that authenticity is just one of the keys there. Just do it your way. Don't do it someone else's way.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Nick. It is so important. And I think with social media now, it's interesting. I talk to people and I say, now you've got a Facebook profile, but I can't see your photo. I actually didn't know who I was going to be talking with. Like, actually, this is actually a true story. A week ago, someone approached me. They said, I want PR work. And I'm looking online. I can't see any photos of them. I don't know who I'm actually dealing with. And people follow people. And she said, I have a private Facebook account. I said, well, that's fine. You keep your private Facebook account, but then have a public one, because people want to know who they're doing business with. But we want to be able to see you, and there's a lot of people living in fear. That they live in fear. They don't want to share their authentic self because they're worried about what people are going to be thinking and what they're going to say and all that sort of stuff. So I think building that inner resilience as well with your marketing is really, really crucial. You need to actually, I believe, to be successful in business, in life in general, you need to actually get over yourself and just share from the heart, and don't worry about what other people think. Now, we do the Total Truth Show here. Now, I've lost a few friends on Facebook over the last few years since I've been speaking my mind on certain topics, and I don't care what you think. This is my truth, right? And this is why we do the Total Truth Show. This is about our truth. It's not necessarily your truth, right? And check out our show, our previous one, The Truth About the Truth, right? That's a good one to actually get your head around the truth, right? What is the truth and nothing but the truth? So help us. Ken and Aldwyn and Nick today, right? Now, very, very important that you share authentically. Now, some of the things I share in my social media, people think, oh my gosh, how can you share that? How can you? And I think, well, this is just me sharing from the heart about what's going on. I don't care if you like it or not. And the thing is, you're going to have your lovers, you're going to have your haters. Whatever you do, the more you build your profile online, you get more lovers, more haters. So it's important to do what you love, because I believe a lot of it is about leaving a legacy, and it's about making a difference in the world. And if you want to make a difference in the world, a bigger difference, then it's going to be important that you step up. Now, Jeff here, he has, is the 4-hour work week real? That's a great question, Jeff. I'm going to pass that one over to you, Nick. What do you think? Is the 4-hour?
It is in fact real, and in fact, what I do is I've put the 4 hours. I do sort of 2 weeks worth of work in one day. So I do 8 hours in a day, and then I go and do it the next day, and then I go and do it the next day. So you can do the 4-hour work week and just compress it into a day and do 2 of them in a day. But I think that is a really good question from Jeff, because I actually don't think it's real at all. I think that, well, let's put it this way here. Most people go to work, and one of the stats that I saw is that they do 2 hours worth of productive work a day when they're at a job for like sort of 7 or 8 hours. Only 2 of those hours are productive, and the same as in business as well. So you think about what you're actually doing in business, how much of it is not just stuff, but is actually doing the core stuff that your business is about, that makes you money and that delivers value. And often it's not more than 2 hours of the day. Rest of it's doing sort of, I don't know, surfing on social media, doing accounts, setting up your cameras so you can get that perfect shot when you're going live on social media. So aiming for perfection. So much time is wasted, just aiming for perfection. So 4-hour work week, it's, I'm not sure that it's real. And that book isn't about you working 4 hours anyway. It's about outsourcing and about sort of getting other people to come and do some of the tasks that you shouldn't be doing yourself, or that you can outsource to others, so you can be more productive and at the higher paying or higher earning parts of your business. So, but I still think that book is important, because what it does do is it helps you to look at your priorities. So, and I don't know anyone that got into business because they wanted to work, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. They got into business because they wanted the freedom that being in business offers you. But the problem is that most business owners are working 8, 9, 10 hours a day in their business. So instead of the business providing for their lifestyle, their business becomes their lifestyle. So what the 4-hour work week does is it helps to prioritize, and or people set some priorities and think, there's a whole lot of stuff here, there's a whole chunk of work that I'm doing here that is cutting into my lifestyle. How do I now effectively pass it over to someone else to do? And when I say pass over, I'm not talking about abdicating your responsibility. I'm talking about delegating it over in a responsible manner, where you're still in charge of it, but someone else is actually doing the work, so that it frees you up to then go and do the things that either in your lifestyle or more productive things in your business. And I think part of that cycle is, as you free up some of that, you then become more efficient in what you're doing. You're able to develop more the higher income earning parts of your business, and so your income increases in your business, and also your time does. So if your income increases, so let's say you double your hourly rate. So instead of $100 an hour, you charge $200 an hour. Well, you can actually halve the number of clients you're dealing with and still make the same money. So by halving the number of clients means that you've now got more time in your hands. So the 4-hour work week helps you to do that. If you quadruple your prices, you can afford to lose, most of your clients, and so you can do less work and get paid more money. Now, people often think, well, how do you double your prices? That's unrealistic, whatever. But the fact is, people do it, and the way they do it is by getting help in the areas, so they're not fuffing around with stuff that they don't need to do, which is just the ordinary stuff in business. Like for me, I don't do, surprise, surprise, most of my social media posting. I don't do any of the graphics. I don't do any of the posting apart from what I do on my Facebook Live. But my Facebook Live gets shared across, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 other groups when I'm doing it. I don't do any of that. All I do is just that one thing that I'm really good at. Other people in my team do it. Now, I don't have a big team. I've got 3 people on my team, but they sort of deal with most of the work. For my marketing, I've got 2 people in the Philippines that deal with my marketing, and they are excellent. But they go and make sure all this stuff happens in the background, and I don't have to worry about it. All I need to worry about is creating good content and running my show and turning up on the show, talking to speakers and finding speakers. So, I'm often out networking and doing those things. If I wasn't out networking and meeting people, and I was sitting in my office in front of my computer, trying to craft up graphics and post them to social media and getting frustrated because it's not connecting to Instagram or Facebook, and your whole day is wasted, then I wouldn't have a show, because I'm not speaking to anyone. So it's more important for me to be out there, meeting people and talking to people and doing things like this here, than it is for me to do some of those important things in business. And this is where perfection gets in the way. So people hire a virtual assistant or someone to help them. The graphics come back, and the graphics are not how they would do it. So they're not perfect. So they end up coming to redo the graphics themselves the way that they would like it. So instead of training the person to say, hey, look, this is my style, and this is what I want, and spending that extra time to do that at the front end, they redo it, and then they go and say, well, I hired a virtual assistant. It didn't work out. They were no good. So I just ended up doing it all myself. So the path to that is a path to destruction in business. The path to success is, for your graphics to come back and think, oh, look, that's okay. But, is it a deal killer? No, it's not. Just get it out and know that things will improve. And then you can just work on incremental improvements till you get what you like. I mean, my team there, they don't check the graphics with me before they post it. They post it. So my philosophy is it's better to have something that is off-brand and poor quality to go out and to go on my profile than it is for it to come back to me to make it perfect and never get posted. So you can always fix up that off-brand stuff and stuff that's not quite perfect over time and until you get pretty close. It is a process. It's a bit like I play guitar badly, but I play guitar. But when you first learn guitar, it sounds pretty awful. And it's like it's learning where do you put your fingers on the strings there, how hard you put it on, and so you strum it. You're never going to come out of the gates sounding like the Eagles. So you might as well just go and play and just do a few family concerts and, people that are going to support you and sort of clap and say, oh, that was really good when it was really shit. But, you've got those supporters there, but it's more important you do that because, 30 years down the track. So this is the other end of that side, in the exponential curve, and you're playing like a absolute legend. You play like that because you put in the hours at the beginning and you're prepared to be vulnerable, be embarrassed, and do sort of crap work to start with. That's how you get to be good. So yes, the 4-hour work week is for most people is not true, but the principles of the 4-hour work week are really important because that's what gets you success in business.
I agree. And I want to speak a little bit to the brand, because it's interesting that I had the pleasure of actually working with somebody a couple months ago, actually, who completely redid my website. But this guy did it in such a fashion that I remember when I had my first conversation with him on Zoom, where he sold me on him. And mind you, I'm going to say I was not looking for anybody at the time, but he sold me. He quoted me his price, and I talked him down on his price. But then interesting enough, side story. I started working with him, and he started developing stuff for me on my website, and I began to see his work. And so later on, towards 3/4 of the way through working with him and him redeveloping stuff, I ended up offering to pay him more because of what he deserved. So, that's kind of like a side story. But anyhow, he recreated my brand into something that I look at it now. I go on my website now, and I'm just like, I am just so drawn to. I mean, everything down to the fonts, everything. Absolutely incredible. Well, he also did something extra for me that I was not expecting to have happen. He built me out, I think it's anywhere between 40 to 45 pages. He built me out a 40 to 45 page PDF brand manual. So right now, everything I do is by myself. So I don't have the fortune yet of having a team, but I am looking forward to that happening one day. But I do have the confidence of knowing that I can now take that brand manual and any VA I have, I can go, here you go. This is everything I stand for. These are all my angles. These are my colors. These are what each color stands for. This is where to use this font. This is how to use this font. Da 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 da. Here's the photos, the types of photos you use. Here's how to blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, the brand, man, it's very exhaustive, I guess is the word for it.
Detailed.
Huh?
Detailed, very detailed.
It's very detailed. There's another word that I want that I was looking for, though, but comprehensive. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yes, it's very, very comprehensive. comprehensive. And so I'm just kind of wondering, Nick, what's your thoughts on something like that? Because having a brand manual is something that I've never even thought of or had access to, and I even go to it, as my guide. It's like, okay, I'm doing this here. What should I put here? Oh yeah, that color.
I think, well, the good thing, there are some good tools out there today too. So I'm thinking about that brand manual and thinking at the moment, we're in the middle of a course called Canva. So if you know the platform canva.com.
Yes, I do.
So my partner and I, Jenny, we're teaching people how to use Canva for business. One of the great things about Canva is that you can load your brand kit in there. So you can put your colors, your logos, your styles, your fonts, and all that sort of stuff can be loaded in there. So when your VAs go in there, the only things they can use are that. So, so that's your next level of that. But I think with like branding, so sometimes people don't quite understand what branding is. So, most commonly people think, your brand is your logo. But yes, your logo is part of your brand. But the most important thing about your brand is you. So, as small business owners, it's you. We're not talking about sort of large monolithic organizations, except if you're looking at, say, something like Virgin. Richard Branson's still the brand of Virgin. Tony Robbins is still the brand of the Tony Robbins brand. So, but the most important thing is you. And so that's why it's so important to be authentic and genuinely you, because that's what people see. If you're trying to be someone else and trying to sort of have a brand that's outside of that, unless you're paying a paid actor or you're only doing it for an hour a day, it's really difficult. So it's got to be you. So for me, you've seen Jeff in comments. Thanks, Jeff. He's just mentioned my my shirts and the fact that I have a bit of fun, which is absolutely how it is. I was told when I ran webinars is that I should wear a plain coloured shirt, and so as not to detract from what's up here, my face.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, well, this face is nothing to look at, so I'm going to distract their attention away from this face and onto my bright-coloured shirts. But the fact of it is that now what people do is they comment on, like when I come on, he's the guy with the shirts. So I've always got these sorts of shirts that are on. So, you don't actually have to run with the advice that people give you. Sometimes your branding is counterintuitive and doing the opposite of what other people are doing. So when everybody's wearing bland coloured shirts on their webinars, and you're the person that shows up in a bright coloured shirt, all of a sudden you stand out. So that becomes a brand. So now if I wear a plain shirt, people say to me, "Oh, what's wrong? Are you sick?" So those sort of responses. So it becomes authentically you. And I don't have a problem wearing this. I've always been a colourful sort of person, and so I would naturally put this on. Other people would struggle wearing the short sorts of shirts that I wear because it's just too loud, too outlandish, and it stands out. So you've got to work with whatever's going to work with your personality, but that's all part of your brand as well too. It is your logos, it is your colours, but it's also your voice, your personality, who you are, so what you wear, the sorts of people you hang out with, where you go to eat, you sort of outdoor, indoor, what sort of music you like, all of that sort of falls into part of your brand. The books that you read, I post, the books that I read up there as well too. All of that becomes your brand. And so you're attracting your tribe. And I think Aldwyn said it earlier on, is that, there are going to be people that like you and those that dislike you. I think once you get that, and particularly when you get people that hate you, and I've had that online over the past few years, particularly when I speak my truth, is that that you're on the right track. Because that becomes polarizing in the sense that you've taken a stand. And the interesting thing is if when you do take a stand and you put your stake on the ground and you say, no, this is me, this is what I stand for, and this is what I believe in, two things will happen. One is you'll get people that argue against you and they'll be adamantly, fervently against you. So when you get that, that's fine, because the other thing that happens is you start to attract a whole tribe of people who say, no, I stand with this person. I 100% agree with what you're standing for and what you do and what you talk about, and they will go out to bat for you and they'll defend you. So and what happens is that when you've got something as polar as that, the tribe that you attract is going to be a lot stronger than the tribe that you attract by being the same as everybody else. So I think, don't be scared of being so vulnerable, of being telling your truth, and staking your brand in the ground as well. Like I remember when I first started doing live videos, I didn't know what to talk about, so I talked about. And they talked about being vulnerable and all that sort of stuff there. So, I had to have a few tears and all that sort of stuff. So, I did all that. And but I didn't know what to talk about back then. So I talked about my story about the global financial crisis, where I was successful. I was 8 months out from retirement, and a global financial crisis came along and just totally cleaned me out, wiped me out. And so I talked about, for me, it was about identity as well, too. It was like my identity was staked to all that. So I talked about how that sort of not only took away everything that I had, but it also had me question my identity and who I stood for and who I really was. I was a mortgage broker that was a successful mortgage broker that had a large property portfolio. All of a sudden that had gone overnight. So who am I? And the interesting thing about that is that doing those very first live videos about that was very polarizing in a sense, but it was also the people that were attracted to it. I got calls out of the blue from people I did not know in other parts of Australia and New Zealand, who said, that just sounds like my story. That's me. They'd never told their story, but I told it, and all of a sudden it just drew a whole sort of crowd of people to me that had been their experience as well too. So I think if as much as possible you're able to tell your story, tell it authentically as you, then you will get that tribe. And you'll have people that will hate you. You get people that will love you. But that is really the true secret of your business and your marketing, and being authentically yourself.
What's interesting about that as well is you mentioned like your brand is like literally who you are, and actually, interesting enough, I've got to give him a little plug, because I'm talking about his work. So we actually interviewed him on our True Show a few shows ago. His name is Nathan Marshall, and he does phenomenal work. But anyhow, he literally did the work to find out who I was, what my passions were, why they were my passions, and really dive into that. And through that, he like literally created a brand for me that I can sit here and say, that's me. That is 100% me, all the way down to the personality. You go to my website, you're going to find words like, I want to help something like I want to help free people from the disinformation and misinformation of the health wellness industry. Let's get rid of the diets. My goal, my logo is literally a fist. So, and he did it in such a way to where this in the middle, that's the M that stands for mastery, because my website's masteryweightloss.com. And then the fist stands for punching through the misinformation and disinformation of the health, wellness, and food industry, which is one of my passions. Literally, it's one of my passions. Any lie that I can find out there that the industry has placed on people and caused people to buy into, I have a passion to expose it. Not only to expose it, but I have a passion to literally show people where to go to find the real truth around that, and help to educate them in that sense, giving them the tools to where they've got something that they can take with them for the rest of their life. They've got the knowledge now. It's like, I don't have to be scared of saturated fats anymore. I don't have to be scared of, I don't have to be scared of eating red meat anymore. I don't have to be scared of these things, and these are all things that the industry continues to sell people. I don't want to get too far down on that, because this is not my spotlight. This is your spotlight. But I really do feel like I've got a brand now that literally speaks me and my personality and what I am passionate about. So when I show up on a live, when I show up on my podcast, when I show up to places, even here, I'm just naturally in my brand because it was built for, it was built me.
Yeah, and I think that's important with brand. Adding to that is that you are actually comfortable with what you put out. When I first went out with my Media Queen brand, which I'll just show you in the corner here for a second, when I first went out with that, I had people that loved it and people that hated it, right? And often I'm explaining what it actually stands for to people. It's actually about Media Queen is about putting the crown on your own head, that you don't need to be born into royalty, right? And it's also celebrating my uniqueness, which is my big hair and my big smile. It's about putting yourself out there. And it's about having fun with what you do, because my nose is definitely not that big, right? So sometimes it's important to actually, explain a bit about the brand, because not everyone will get, like with your fist punch, right? I wouldn't have got that unless you actually told me that. Oh, okay, that's really cool, right? I like that, punching through the misinformation, disinformation. I think that's really cool. So I think when you put your brand out, I think it's important sometimes to actually explain a bit about what it actually stands for, because there'll be others out there going, oh, who are you to call yourself the Media Queen? I go, well, I'm from Queensland, Media Queen from Queensland. It's like, well, who am I not to call myself the Media Queen? You know what I mean? This is my brand, and this is about stepping up and stepping out with what you do. And I don't care whether you like it or don't like it. It's my brand, and I'm very happy with it. Thank you very much. Now, when I was in LA a few years ago at Disneyland, I had two film director friends. They said, we hate your logo. We're going to go out. We're going to get you a proper Media Queen logo. So we went to Disneyland, and we went to this cartoonist, and they did this beautiful looking Media Queen, looked like a princess, right? Like something you'd see in Cinderella. And I thought, well, that's very pretty. And so I thought, okay, let's put it out to the public. And so I put this Media Queen brand, I put the princess looking one out there. I said, what do you think? And so hundreds of comments came through, and people said, oh, I like that one. And other people saying, I like that one. And I thought at the end of it, after the hundreds of comments, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with exactly where I started, what I like. I don't care what you think. And I went back to this cartoon here. So I think also with your brand, it's important for it to resonate with you, for you to feel comfortable no matter what people say. However, at the same time, people say, oh, ask what others think. Ask, do some market research, see what others think. And I think that could be good in some areas, but I think when it comes to your brand, it's got to sit right with you. What do you think about that, Nick?
Well, it's interesting when that whole thing about asking what other people think. There is a difference between what people think and what they say and what they're prepared to buy. So, so often, I see these comments. People put out their logos, their colors, their photo shoots. They're good with their photo shoots, putting those out and saying, which one do you like? But it's the wrong question. When you're in business, the real question is which one is really going to resonate with the sorts of people that I want to work with and I want to attract. Which one is actually going to get them to pay me the money to work with them and to really sort of bring my expertise forth. And you'll never get that from people that say, I like this one over that one. You will only get that by people who sort of pay you the money to say, here's my money. This is what I resonate with. So I'm just really sort of hesitant about sort of putting that stuff. I mean, it's good for vanity and all that sort of stuff there, but from a reality perspective, it's like, your true A/B testing or split testing is about putting them both out there and seeing which one actually gets you the result that you're after.
I'm remembering now. I'm probably going to botch this up, but I'm kind of basically going off of what Jeff just posted here. So Aldwyn, if you'll let me share this real quick. If you want to please everyone buy a bloody ice cream shop. Now, I think the quote goes like this. Now, I might botch this up. So if I do, well, hey, I've got a little note written here saying be unapologetically you. So if I mess up, so be it. You can please some of the people some of the time, some of the people all of the time, but you cannot please all of the people all of the time. I forget who that's by.
Great quote. Yeah, I love that. I love that quote. Absolutely. We'll never please everyone. And often we can be very hard on ourselves as well, particularly if we're perfectionists. And I'm sure there's no perfectionists here in the room, or anyone watching this would not be perfectionists. I know that I've had a tendency in the past to be a perfectionist. And so with that too, that can stop people from making progress in any area of marketing, right? And, you're talking about people follow other people, do what other people do when it comes to marketing. So I've noticed lately there's been a lot of people that are doing sponsored ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And from what I hear from people that are putting a lot of money into advertising, that they're not getting the same results that they did even a year ago than they are, that now they're not getting the same results that they were a year ago. Like, things are changing so rapidly with algorithms and all that kind of thing. So what are your views on that, Nick, on actually paying for advertising with your marketing?
Well, the thing is not only the algorithms that have changed, but as people's behavior has changed as well. So over the past 3 years, so if you remember sort of going through all of the those lockdowns and, where we all had to stay at home and not go out to work and wear face nappies and all that sort of crap that was going on. Where do people go for their social interaction? Where do they go shopping? Where do they go for their information, for their news? They went online. So, they had their faces buried in their smartphones and their tablets and their TVs. And now that we're out of all that we had long enough in that. What they take, it takes 30 days to form a habit. Well, I know that we're on lockdown for more than 30 days, so people are on these devices for more than 30 days. So now it's become ingrained in them that this is where you go for information. And so I think, and there's also this. Well, I used to call it banner blindness, but I know from in the online space for my webinar that I run, maybe sort of 2-3 years ago, we would have 80% of our registrations that had come in for that would happen by at least the day before, so they come in for the day before. Now, 90% of the registrations come in on the day, and most of them come in in the afternoon before the event, within 4 hours of the event. Now, that there is like panic stations for people that are running, events, because they think, is anyone going to show up? But that's people's behavior. Why is that happening? Well, it's because that they're familiar with this online world, because they're in it every day now. They're not making decisions until later on, because there might be something better that comes along. So they're not committing early now. They commit at the last possible moment, because you never know if the better offer is going to come along. And so in order to get people along, you need to be repetitively out there reminding people that your event is coming up or that you exist. So it's not a process of just running ads. So, and I think that this is what's happening with people too, is they run the ads, they're not getting the results that they want, because people are not so quick to take actions anymore. They're waiting till later to take action. And so if they pull their ad and they don't continue with it, they might actually just stop too early. So knowing that your ad should run through to probably later than you would normally run the ad. But the thing I would say about ads as well too is ads only amplify the results you're getting organically. So if you're running an event or you're trying to get interest in what it is that you're doing, if you are getting no interest at all, and organically, if you're going to start paying for ads, then you're going to be spending money for people not to be interested in what you've got. So it just becomes an expensive exercise to get the same result. So the relationship between paid and organic marketing is one where you need to get your stuff happening properly organically. So you're actually getting results organically. And then when you start paying for ads, that'll just amplify the same result that you're getting organically. So, and by amplifying, what I mean is if you get, I don't know, let's say you get 100 people that see your stuff there organically, and 2 people decide to buy. So, so if you start paying for it now, and now you put it in front of 1,000 people, then you may expect to get 20 people to buy. But if you're getting no results to start with, then you're still going to get no results if you have shot in front of 1,000 people or 10,000 people. So it'll just be an expensive exercise. So really, your advertising is just ramping up, what the results that you're getting organically.
Yeah, I totally agree. Too many people rely on, kind of this spray and pray method with advertising. I'll just put money into advertising and suddenly we're going to have heaps of people at our events. And more that is not happening, exactly for the reason you say, that we have been flooded with courses and webinars and masterclasses and people doing things online, offline. There's just events left, right, and center, coaches coming out of the woodwork, suddenly experts straight out of university, or out of high school even, some of them. People just coming out of the woodwork and claiming to be experts in their field and just going out full on with their marketing. And this advertising, the people that I do know that are advertising that are getting great results are putting about 10 grand a month Australian into their ads. So unless you're putting that kind of money in, generally you're not going to get great results from what I see. And most people who I survey, about 1 in 4 people are getting excellent results with their advertising. And so I have been doing organic marketing for years now. I have done a little bit of advertising. I'm not saying don't do any advertising. However, I think consistency, as you say, back to your very first point about consistency with your organic marketing is really, really important, because people are going to Google you, and what are they going to find? Are you Googleicious? I love that term. Are you Googleicious? And they want to see you before they decide to do business with you. So any other tips before we'll wrap up shortly? We could keep on going with this show for another half hour at least. So before we wrap up today, any other final tips? And we'll come to some of those comments too. Thank you so much, Jeff, and Kath will come and share those comments in just a moment.
I do have one which relates to just what you said there, and it is all around organic. Like most of my marketing has been organic. And in fact, if you go and Google my name, last time I did in incognito mode is every single listing in Google for the 6 pages were all mine. So that's 6 pages deep, every single listing. So I counted them all through until I found someone else's website or someone else that's popped in there. But 6 pages deep I was. And how do you get that? It's not by going to optimize your website. Yes, that helps. And people sort of think, I need more SEO. And that's not really what does it. What does it is appearing on shows like this. So appearing like so I know that Aldwyn, you have marketed this out in all sorts of places in your marketing machine there, and my name has been on this. So it's in social media. It's in it'll soon be on YouTube. It'll be on the channels that you're posting this to. All of those end up in some of those are in my listings when people Google my name. So some of the best things you can do with your marketing is to find people that you can be a guest on in terms of their podcast. So you don't have to create your own podcast or your own webinar. Just be a guest on other people's. Go and find places where you can write articles and you can contribute to other people's platforms. But don't do it from the perspective of you wanting to gain something. Do it because you can truly add some value to their audience and to them all too. So one thing I sort of think when you do approach people for being a guest on their show is do some research to start with. Find out what the show's about, who the audience is about. Go and start to interact with them. If you can add some value on the platform by commenting on something that's come through, those things get noticed. Like I run my show, I read the comments that appear on my YouTube channel. I read them when they come through on the social media channels, and I'll generally respond to all of those comments. So if then someone comes on that has responded to a few of those things and say, hey, look, I'm not sure whether this might be of value to you, but I think I may have something to contribute as a guest to your show. I already know who they are, because not only have I read their comments, but I've stalked them as well too, and I've had a look at their profiles and what they do. So I've already got a whole lot of information about them to decide whether they're going to be a good fit for my show or not. So in terms of your organic presence, it's not that hard. It's a look at where are the places you can add value to outside of your own little world, and really start to contribute meaningfully there. I know I go to a networking group called BX as well, and whenever I'm there, generally most of the time I'm going to take a photo and I'm going to post about that. So people think, there's a few people, there's probably three things that people think that I do. One is to run my show, the Business Owner Smashing an Online Show. Second thing is I'm always out to breakfast at these networking meetings. And the third thing is, what's the third thing? Geez, I had it there. Not even. Oh no, I go to the gym. So people sort of see me there. So whenever people talk to me, they say, "Yeah, I've seen you at the gym. I've seen you at networking." It's like, "Do you do any work?" It's like it's those three things that they know me for. But the fact that they've noticed that means that my marketing is doing its work while it's fun, while it's doing the things that I enjoy, and I haven't had to pay for it.
Yeah, I love it. Your network is your net worth, right? And one thing I can say for all of us here, all three of us, we all network actively. In fact, Ken and I met on an online network event during COVID. We met on an online networking event. Here we are collaborating. We've never met in person, right? Here we are. We've now up to our 26th show. And Nick and I have known each other for years through networking, and we kept crossing paths many, many years. And we have interviewed each other. You've had me on your Business Owner Smashing Online speaking a few times. I've interviewed you before for Media Queen TV. And it's an ongoing relationship. Building these relationships is so crucial. And so networking is absolutely gold. And having fun with what you do is gold too, because people see you having fun and they want to have fun too, whether they, whether they admit it or not. A lot of people live in drama and love their worlds of drama. However, I'm sure secretly everyone wants to be happy, right? Everyone wants to be happy, even if they're living in drama. And that's probably because they're watching way too much mainstream media. So get on BitChute. Get on BitChute and Rumble and see some of the alternative stuff I suggest. And back to what you were saying earlier. Back to what we're talking about, the 4-hour work week. Now, I think also with marketing, it's important to look at the 80-20 rule, the Pareto's principle, right? What is it that you are getting 80% of results out of 20% of the effort you're putting in? Now, we've got Jeff here saying, I only work half a day every day. Which 12 hours do you want, day or night, right? And he says, Jeff says, I'm writing the truth. He's writing the truth, the 60-hour work week. Oh, I love it. And Jeff says, you just love having fun, Nick. It's called passion. Yes, we love that passion. We're drawn to that, right? We are actually drawn to people who are having a great time and loving life. There's going to be those that are going to be jealous, of course, because they're just miserable in general, and hurt people. However, they're the ones that aren't part of your community. So you let them go with love. Let them go with love and hang out with people you do want to hang out with, who are going to be barracking for you and actually going good on you for winning awards and for doing all the amazing things you're doing. Jeff says here, your brand is your fortune. Ask McDonald's, Nike, the business gurus, and more. Yeah, your brand is your fortune too. Yeah, that's a good one. Jeff says, I love haters. I meme them to death with my brand. Okay, he loves haters. So that's a good one. That's a good one. Good way to look at it. Kath says, hello, Kath on LinkedIn. Working on my marketing strategy today. So this has been super helpful. Thanks. Our pleasure, Kath. Glad you've enjoyed it. Oh, we've got the ice cream shop. We talked about that one. Jeff said, please yourself with ice cream. I presume he's talking about making me feel like ice cream now. Test and measure is the answer. Paid is quicker. Okay, so he thinks paid is quicker than organic. Well, it could be quicker. Could be quicker for some people. I mean, if you have a spare 10 grand a month. Well, it could
be quicker in two directions. If you've got something there that is not converting organically, it's going to be quicker to get you through to bankruptcy. If you've got something that is working, if it is working, then it just accelerates what you're doing. So it is an amplifier. So exactly right.
Yes. Thank you for that, Jeff. Thank you for all your comments today.
I've heard
it's been
so many
awesome.
nightmare stories about advertising with Google, advertising with, especially Facebook. I have heard so many nightmare stories about that.
Yes, a lot of people have wasted a lot of money on advertising. This is why I focus on free publicity. It was exactly what we're doing here. We're doing free publicity today. There's free, and you too can start your own online TV show and your own podcast, and then you will have something to offer those when you want to get a podcast guesting spot with somebody else. You can actually go to them if there's an alignment, of course, and go to them and say, hey, I'd love to interview you on my show, and maybe you could interview me on your show. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's do a win-win love affair happening here right across the world. And this is it, right? Like, who could you collaborate with, and who could you offer something to? Or maybe you could offer a service in exchange for people's time. Always look at how you can be of service, always, right? Not always, I get so many people every week now saying, can I be a guest on your show? Like, the number of people organically coming through now, I'd love to be interviewed on your show. And so I say, like with Media Queen TV, right, I value it at $1,000 for what I do. And so I say, well, it's $1,000 value for this. Now, you know, I'd love to do an exchange with you, right, rather than giving everything for free. Now, Total Truth Show, we're not monetizing this at the moment. However, I think putting a value on what you do, we're going out to 70, 80,000 people. We're streaming to 8 different platforms. We're promoting it to, you know, it takes time to build up those kind of connections, right? And so actually putting a value on the work that you do and looking at how you can exchange energy rather than just take, what can I get from you all the time? It's just not the way to go. So being of service, I think, is absolutely crucial, and having something that you can offer others is brilliant as well. Jeff says, thanks, guys. Great topic. Got to go and annoy some haters. Thank you so much, Jeff. We are going to be wrapping up shortly. Any final comments, Nick?
Thank you, Jeff.
Final comments.
Final comments is I think that, you know, the most important thing that people can be doing if you are in business, if you hate it, get out and do something you love. But make sure that it's something that, you know, overall you enjoy. You might not enjoy all aspects of it, but make sure it's something that you enjoy and that you can deliver with you know, passion, and people get to see all that and to experience all that. And you know, I talked about before, you know, often our identity is linked to our business or what we do. So, you know, and that's just a natural, you know, human condition. So if your identity is linked to it, make sure that, you know, what you link your identity to is something that, you know, you do enjoy, something that does add value, and that you can make money with it as well.
Yes, I think that's so crucial, because if you don't love what you do, you're not going to stick with it. And there are a lot of people out there doing courses now because they think it's going to make them a lot of money, right? Promoting certain things. And I can assure you most of them will be closed down in 3 years' time, within 3 years, if they're not passionate about what they're doing. So,
well, if you're not passionate about it, or you don't enjoy it, then it's very hard to be consistent with something you don't really enjoy. So, you know, if you're going to be in this for the next 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 30 years, remember that exponential curve there. For the first portion of it, you're going to feel like you're getting no results at all, very little results. So you want to make sure that whatever you're in is going to take you past that point till you get to that sweet spot where you're up on stage there as the legendary musician there, ripping out your guitar riffs or whatever it is that you happen to be doing. And that's when it looks like it's enjoyable. But make sure that the pain that you go through to get there is at least you can enjoy some of that pain.
I definitely resonate with that. I can resonate with that because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. What I do, I'm very passionate about. What I teach and how I work with people, very, very, very passionate about it. And I love it. And I decided to open up my own thing, my own brand, my own company, because originally I started with affiliate marketing, but I did not like what they offered. I did not like any of their high ticket, low ticket, any of that stuff for my industry, because pretty much what I saw was all of it was the same jargon that's keeping people stuck out there in the first place. It was all around like this, you know, oh, this special red tea that's going to make you lose weight. And it's all the wrong approach. You know, yeah, some of that might be healthier, but it's all the wrong approach. And so I started my own brand and company, but it's something that, getting back to what I was saying, it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. And helping people is something I really enjoy. Now, is that to say that this has been an easy journey for me? Hell effing no is the way I'll say that. No, it has not been an easy journey. It's been rough, hard, and rocky sometimes, and still is rough, hard, and rocky. And sometimes it literally frustrates me and drives me crazy. I'll put out posts on Facebook that are just great, telling my story. One will get a bunch of hits, and the other one, which is just as valuable, shares my story, gets crickets. Literally drives me up the wall. But I have a mentor I'm working with, and so I'm trying, you know, I'm just doing everything I can to follow his lead, even though I hate this process. But in saying that, and hate's kind of a strong word, because what I get to do through all of this and through this journey is I get to embrace the process of learning, embrace the process of getting better, and embrace that whole process. That is what I will say to that.
Love that. Everything is hard until it becomes easy. That's one of my favorite sayings. Everything is hard until it becomes easy, right? So actually having that patience, persistence, consistency, all the things we've been talking about here today, and I'm sure so much more. I'm sure we could do another whole episode around this, why most marketing fails, and do these 3 things instead. So just summing up, what were the 3 things that people are doing there, Nick? The 3 things again that people should do.
Oh, I think there was 103 things, weren't there?
Yeah.
Right? Seriously.
Can we summarize it with 3 main things?
All right, three things. First thing is just show up. So just show up. The second thing is consistency beats intensity. So just be consistent. And then the third thing is be you. Be authentic, be you. Do those 3 things there, and you are 90% there with your marketing.
Excellent. And the other 10% is the other 100 things we mentioned on this show. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, please let us know.
Some of those things I don't know about, though. Oh my goodness.
Oh no, I think the dating stuff was very relevant. But anyway, you just pop in there. Pop in there, wherever you're watching this, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you are right now, please pop in. Let us know, what are the main bits of gold, what are the nuggets of gold that you've got out of this show today? Let us know. What are some of your ahas, your learnings today? What are you taking on from here? Let us know in the comments. And now we'll wrap up by sharing your links and how people can connect with you. So Nick, how can people connect with you?
Best way to connect with me is if you go to my website, which is smashgo.co, SMASHGO, all one word, .co. Pretty much everything's there. Or the other way to connect with me, if you just Google my name, Nick Cree, NIKCREE, one word, I'm all over the place. So just click on any link you'll find there, and you'll find me.
Excellent. And it's Nick, N-I-K, right? N-I-K-C-R-E-E is where you'll find Nick. So note that spelling. There's no C in the Nick, but there is a C in the Cree, right? There we go. That had a bit of a ring to it. Fantastic. So there we go. Check out Nick Cree. Google him. See what you find. It's all above board, we can assure you. Even though sometimes the Zoom, there's nothing below board. But anyway, over to Ken. So Ken, I'm talking about the birthday suits again. Ken, where can people connect with you, Ken?
You can connect with me on, first you can click to join my Facebook group, which Aldwyn, you have the link for that. So the link for that, she's achieving it.
There it is. There's the link. And what's your Facebook group called, Ken?
Facebook, well, this is www.tinyurl.com/Ken's group. And the actual Facebook group is called, I'm pulling it up here. It is called Ken's Empowered and Informed Mastery Weight Loss Group for Lasting Results, not a diets.
Love it.
So,
okay.
The not a diet part was the extra added that I added. That's not actually part of the title of the group, but yes.
Okay.
And then you can also connect with me. All my links are found on my link tree, which you were supposed to save that.
I did save it. Here it is, coming right up in just a moment. Here it is, into the comments. Connect with Ken at, there it is, a link tree /linktr.ee/Fat Fighter Ken.
Yes. All the important links are right at the top of my link tree. And so you'll see those there, my calendar, my Facebook group, my website, all of that stuff. Connect with me. If you have any questions about your weight loss journey, I would definitely like to get on a Zoom call with you, or even connect with me on Messenger on Facebook. If you're not into Zoom, some people aren't. Love to chat it up with you. What do you have to lose by just chatting it up with me? So go for it.
Probably 100 pounds or so.
Yes, that. And then you also have to gain your health and energy. So you have lots to gain.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And for those who want to connect with me, go to linktree, linktr.ee/Aldwyn, ALDWYN. I would love to connect with you. We have an event coming up in Brisbane soon, Skyrocket Your Success Masterclass with the amazing Lorna Buckland, who was given 3 months to live 41 years ago. She's an extraordinary lady. So we'll be doing that coming up at the end of the month. And also you can do the Global Good News Challenge. And I've shared the link in there. That happens every month. It's absolutely free. All it is a simple live video. Here we go. For those that have been resisting doing live videos, here's your opportunity. Absolutely free marketing for you. Do the Global Good News Challenge. You will feel amazing. Very simple live video sharing your name, what you do, 3 things you're grateful for, and a piece of good news. And that could be good news about what you're up to in your business, or good news about that you're alive right now. Whatever it is, share that. You will feel amazing, and so will the people around you. You will be helping to decrease depression and suicide rates, and you'll be lifting the energy on the planet. And we're talking about that exponential curve before, and that tipping point that has, sometimes you feel like you're chugging along in business, and there'll be a tipping point, and suddenly things will start going exponential for you. You'll start magnetizing opportunities. I'm very grateful that I have magnetized a phenomenal opportunity with the head of Meetup International head office have contacted me out of the US and said they want to interview me about the Global Good News Challenge and about what we're doing in the media to help to reduce the depression and suicide rates. They've got a whole month in May that they're focusing with their podcast on mental health. And they've found me, they Googled me, they found me, and they've approached me to interview me. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And that's the kind of thing that will happen more and more. You'll get speaking gig opportunities. You'll have people come to you wanting to interview you. And of course, what have I said in return? I've said, I would love to interview the CEO of Meetup as well. I would love to. And so here we are now, we're having that discussion, right? So, always look at what you can give back. Always look at that, right? So wrapping up today, finally, we love to finish here with our favorite quote or motto that we love to live by. So Ken, what's yours for today?
Mine for today is definitely something different. So it's not necessarily a quote, but it is written on my little piece of paper over here on my wall. You cannot hope for your motivation for the day. You must be intentional about it. Start your day with intention.
I love that. Beautiful. And Nick, do you have a favorite motto or quote you live by? I
do. Being an entrepreneur or business owner is the best personal development course you can ever enroll in.
Oh yeah, that's a beauty. Great. I love that. And my one today is from Margaret Mead. A small group of thoughtful people can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you so much, Nick, for being our special guest today. It's been an awesome show. Absolutely love it. And I'm sure if you're watching the replay, you might want to rewatch this again because there was so many gold nuggets that we shared here. And please pop in the comments. Let us know, what did you get from the show today? Share the love out to your socials wherever you're watching this. We would love that. If you have any other comments, questions, pop them in the comments wherever you're watching this or listening to this right now. Thank you so much for your support. We love you. We look forward to seeing you again on our next Total Truth Show episode. And hop along to Nick's event tonight, Business Owners Smashing It Online, at 6 p.m. So in about 4 hours from now, wherever you are in the world, it's an awesome event. Even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning for you, like it might be for Ken, it will be worth hopping on. Ken, you might want to hop on in the middle of the night. Hop on Business Owners Smashing It Online. It is really totally worth it. Absolutely free. In fact, what's the topic tonight, Nick?
The topic tonight is about your photography, so your branding. So we've got a photographer coming along, and she's going to talk about how to not look like a deer looking in headlights when you're put in front of a camera, how to use it to tell a story and use it across your social media and web platforms to promote you as your brand.
Fantastic. And the link, of course, to join tonight, we actually have an easy URL link there for them, don't we? And
yes, so it's easy URL, which is EZYURL.co/Bosio, BOSIO, which is short for Business Owners Smashing It Online. So easyurl.co/Bosio.
Excellent. And hop along. You won't regret it. In fact, I find I've referred quite a few friends to your event, friends and clients, and Nick to Bossio now, and they just love it. They hop on nearly every week as well now, which is just fantastic. So, you do give incredible value with that, and you will just love it. And you can win a prize at the end too. So that's always a nice value add. And people get to introduce themselves at the beginning too. So it is free marketing for you as well if you're willing to step out of your comfort zone and actually say hello at the beginning, because Nick does give you the opportunity to get on the mic and introduce yourself. So hop along there. I'll be there tonight. I look forward to seeing whoever does hop on tonight. We'll see you there at the Business Owners Smashing It online, and make sure you register there and check out the Facebook group as well. And I would recommend too, for those that are really serious about this marketing, that actually put the time into actually working on your branding and your messaging from the very beginning, because it's like building the foundation of your house. And so if you want more support with that, reach out, book a free call on my Calendly link. I'd actually do in-depth media consultations with people where we actually go deep dive into your messaging and your marketing before you actually go and spray and pray with a whole lot of messaging that is not relevant to what you do. Okay, so it's important to sharpen the saw, so to speak, right? Sharpen the saw so you have better impact with that. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Any final words, Ken, Nick, before we wrap up the live? Any final?
Yeah. No? The only final words I might have could be inappropriate, but anyway, I love being here tonight, and thank you so much for allowing me to share here on the show. Not everyone gives me a platform where I can just talk and talk and talk, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much, Nick. We love having you on, and no doubt we'll get you back again. We would love to have you back here. You just give so much value consistently, ongoingly, and you deserve every success. So thank you once again. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. We'll see you again